Hey, happy Monday or Tuesday. Today we're going to learn how to use the Eastside Catholic Library to access some databases. This is the fourth time that I'm trying to record this video. My cat messed up two of them, and then on the last one I got through recording all of it, and then I realized I had made a mistake in one of the requirements. So I'm hoping we're going to make it through this time. Okay, so here is where we are at in our project. Last week we read the articles From Parkland to Sunrise and Youth Teaching Tech to Seniors. We did our small group Zoom discussions on Friday. Shout out to the group leaders who helped coordinate that. And fourth period in particular did a great job of groups being able to get together and find a time to meet. Fifth period, we had a lot of different issues going on, but we're hoping to do our makeups on Tuesday, May 19th. So here's where we're at today. Teacher modeled research. So I'm going to model for you how to use the EC Library databases using my examples to walk you through the steps. And then later on, we'll talk about citing the sources in MLA format and writing the annotations. All right. Here's the essential question. So this is the question that we are trying to answer through our sources. And you're not going to find one single answer for this. Like we saw, we had two different articles that showed us ways that teens are using other avenues to advance social causes or what they feel is important. We just want to help expand our response and understanding to the question. So some people consider minors, that's you all, teens who are under 18, to be politically powerless because they cannot vote. How are young people using other avenues or ways to advance social causes? So even though you can't vote, even though teens can't vote, what can they do in order to make a difference in the causes that they care about? And today we're researching sources to answer this question. Actually, I want to go back and talk about databases for a minute. A database is basically site that collects other sources and pulls them all together. A phone book is a database of people's phone numbers. Maybe I realize now you don't know what a phone book is. Maybe they still do. Maybe you still get them delivered on your doorstep. Google is a database because you type something to Google and it doesn't give you its own information. It gives you information from all of the other websites that exist on the internet. What we're going to look at today is databases that Eastside Catholic pays for, and they give us access to results that are more specific and sometimes give us access to results that otherwise you would have to pay for. All right, so you're going to look for two sources. For each source, your source needs to be approximately 2 pages in length or 750 words about. And I'll show you how you can check the word count on one of the databases that we're going to use. The sources need to come from the Eastside Catholic database. And the reason why is because that is the skill we're practicing. A lot of students will say, well, hold on a second, I'm going to distract her with some treats. Okay, she's very social. So a lot of students will say, I can just find what I need to find on Google. That's totally true. They'll say, it'll be a lot faster if I find it on Google. That's also probably totally true. We're not practicing how to find a source the fastest, and we're not practicing how to find a source on Google. We're practicing how to use the library databases because eventually in that high school, but especially in college, you'll do a lot of research where the information you want is behind a database and Google won't give you the sources you want. So we want to practice and learn how to do that now. Encyclopedia articles do not work for this project. An encyclopedia article is a general overview of information, and we want to be more specific to be able to answer that question. So when you're looking at our EC Library databases, you can't use Britannica Online, you can't use Gale Virtual Reference Library, you can't use World Book Encyclopedia, and then not like EC links to this, but also you can't use Wikipedia. I can't remember if we talked when we were in class about my opinion on Wikipedia, but my opinion on Wikipedia is that it is awesome. I use it probably every single day to look up general information, and I encourage all of you to do the same. But when you're doing research, it's like using an encyclopedia. It's a good starting point. It's not one of your end sources typically. Okay, so a couple of tips. Pick out the most important words in the question. Don't be like that grandma that we saw last week who types like, "Dear Google, please convert this Roman numeral to me. Thank you. Multiple tabs are your friend. So when I'm doing research, I like to open each page in a new tab so that I can keep track of it. And then lastly, use quotation marks to get results that have all the search terms. So, oh my gosh, she's back. So what I mean by this is if you want to search violent cat, if you search the words violent cat, the database will return for you any articles that have the word violent or that have the word cat in it. If you search violent cat, then the database will only return articles that have the word violent and the word cat in it. So using the quotation marks helps you to restrict your search to all of the words that are in your search terms. Okay, and then once you find a source that you think will work, we're just going to do a quick check. Is it from a database other than an encyclopedia? Great. Is it approximately 2 pages or 750 words? Great. It can be more than that. I just don't want it to be too short. From skimming it, does the reading level seem like an appropriate level for you? Great. And from skimming it, does it look relevant to the question that you want to answer? Great. If you can answer yes to each question, then you can print your source to OneNote and annotate it, and then we'll talk about what to do next. Okay, so let's take a look at how to do this. So you're going to start by going to Plus Portals. Once you log into Plus Portals, you're going to go to Groups. And then on Groups, you're going to select the drop-down and go to Library. Once you get to Library, you're going to scroll down, and here are all of the databases that Eastside Catholic has access to. You'll see there are some that probably won't work. Ancient and Medieval History is not going to be super useful. It goes from prehistory through the 1500s. We want to talk about how teens are making a difference in the world today. Encyclopedia Britannica, again, that's an encyclopedia too general. What I'm going to recommend you start with is ProQuest. So I'm going to scroll down to ProQuest, and I was practicing, so I'd already searched teens climate change. So I'll use that. You can pick whatever keywords you want. What I wanted to focus on was like one particular way that teens are involved in making a difference and working for change. You might have a different cause or social issue that you are interested in seeing what teens are doing. So you do not need to use the words climate change at all. That does not need to be the focus. I just picked it because it was the first thing that came into my head. What I want to make sure that I do is click the checkbox full text. Okay, so that's going to restrict my results to only sources that have the entire text and not just like a brief description of them. So I'm going to search, I want to make sure that my articles have all these words in them. So I'm going to put quotation marks and search teens. Okay, so I searched teens climate change. I put in quotation marks. I got 8 results. Teens climate change suit against U.S. blocked by judges. Okay, climate change should be addressed by Congress and the electorate. It's not the courts. The federal appeals panel ruled in ending a lawsuit. Okay, I don't know. This seems pretty specific about some sort of lawsuit. If I scroll down, it is 931 words, so it meets the length requirement. I don't think that this is really talking about teens. This seems to be like something about federal courts. I don't think that's related enough to what I want to find. J.D. Power and Associates reports, while consumers at the opposite ends of the age spectrum are strong advocates of green living, moms in the middle take a more practical approach. I don't know about that one either. That seems like it's more about moms, so more about adults than about teens. All right, let's try this. Let's try removing the quotation marks and just search teens climate change and see what we find. Fear of climate change. Most teens say they're frightened by climate change. 1 in 4 have taken action, poll shows. Okay, let's look at this one. All right. In a coastal town in Washington, hey, that's Washington, nice. Climate change has a high school junior worried about the floods that keep deluging his school. A 17-year-old from Texas says global warming scares him so much he can't even think about it. This seems like it's talking about a cause that is important to teens. And you notice that it'll highlight your search terms for you. It is 1,353 words. This seems like it could work well for me. So I'm going to go back up to the top. I'm going to save it as a PDF. Do not copy and paste into OneNote. It's going to mess up the formatting. Do not copy and paste into OneNote. It's going to mess up the formatting. Instead, you're going to save it as a PDF, open it, and I am going to print it to OneNote. So I go to print, I go to send to OneNote 2016, I press print. In a minute, OneNote 2016 is going to flash orange. There it is. And it's going to ask, where do you want to insert the printout? I want to insert it into my mini research project section. So I'm going to press OK. And it's going to have a page that is called, oh, it printed it out on the page I was on. Okay. Well, that's not ideal. Let's take this, and this, and this, and this, and put it on a new page. Source number 1. All right, that's better. Okay, and now I have it ready to read and annotate, which is going to be an assignment for later this week. And that's it. So again, just to reiterate the steps, plus portals, groups, library. I would recommend trying ProQuest or EBSCO first. You could also try New Yorker Online or Seattle Times, Washington State News. You're looking for articles that are related to help you answer that question. About 2 pages, 700 words, 750 words. What did I say? 750 words. And then print to OneNote. Thanks you all for sticking with me through my 4th attempt at recording this. And even though my cat distracted again, I am not going to record this a 5th time. So thanks for bearing with me. If you too have an obnoxious or annoying pet, feel free to send me a picture of them so that I don't feel like I'm the only one who has a crazy cat during this time. And I miss you all.